when you look back at the Kansas State game, what are your thoughts on it? What stands out?
Well, yeah, I think that's, again, feel like that's sort of got away a little bit. One that could have been and that wasn't. So disappointing. Not disappointed in our players, just disappointed in the outcome of the game. I think there's there's a lot of things we can feel pretty good about. But there's enough things that probably didn't go right that kind of feel like we let them wiggle off the hook a little bit on us.
Are there things that you noticed that showed you the gap was closing comparatively to the first 2 years you played when you guys been here?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were obviously a lot more competitive game.
Yeah.
They're pretty explosive offense. They have been averaging 450 some yards a game, and they had basically 330, I think, or something, and a lot more points. So I mean, you can look at yards and points, and they had two really noticeable big plays. First play of the game, and then the long run after we kind of had trouble catching the ball on the one. But really they didn't have a lot of other big plays other than that. So I think as I think about things, I feel like we're playing a lot sounder defense overall, and we're not giving up as many big plays as we had in the past. So I think those are all things working in our favor. And again, I think we're starting to understand we've improved the quality of our player, and I think we're understanding how to play a little bit better overall. So all those things work together. But obviously, if we had every answer, we wouldn't have lost that game or maybe any other game. So there's still a hill to climb, but I feel like at least we're climbing.
Brian, huge game, big atmosphere, all that stuff, and then you mentioned the first play of the game and really that first drive. How did you guys respond to that?
That drive was over kind of quick. So we had to regroup, and again, I feel like we were fully ready to play, and they probably guessed we were going to be playing a certain coverage, which we did. They threw a route up there that would be hard to cover. We certainly have worked against that route concept a lot of times before and defended it, and did it twice later in the game and playing the same coverage. So we just kind of botched it up the first one there out of the gate, and then it kind of steamrolled from there. So there was a lot of those plays where we just didn't execute the call probably fully the way it needed to be. Not that we were out schemed and outmaneuvered and didn't have answers. We sometimes we'd had the right answer. We just didn't play the technique or whatever it may be that we needed to do fully in order to be successful. So I mean, it's small things like that they're obviously Kansas State's pretty good. They're experienced and they're physical. And I'm not going to tell you that we just dominated the line of scrimmage. I think we held our own at times. We won a few battles in there, but they won their share too. They're a tough group in there. But I thought we fought as hard as we could, and again we held them down to a degree at least. But at the end of the day, there's 5.5 minutes left on the clock, and we needed to get a stop, and they ran out the clock. So. So again, we hats off to them for that, but again, we got to keep improving then ourselves.
Quick drive like that first one, are there magic words that you have to tell these guys, or do you just accept that their experience, they know they're settled down?
Well, no, we tell them there's things that are said. Hey, we gotta regroup. You gotta be able to flush that, right, and go back and start again. And I feel like we did a pretty decent job after that. And again, I don't think it was that we weren't ready to play. It wasn't like that Texas Tech of where they just steamrolled us down the field. These guys hit a big play and kind of got us. We missed a tackle on a run, and then we got them to third down and really had them defended well. And except we didn't apply good technique, and they're good enough to exploit all that kind of stuff. So, but I thought we got back, and we got back in the game, and really did pretty well beyond that point. So,
thanks.
Brian, they're physical. Kansas State's physical up front. Have you guys turned a corner to where you can now match that type of play?
Yeah, I think we're certainly a lot better at it. There's times when we got knocked around a little bit in there a few times, and we played a little high. Anytime you're not playing with low pad level, they're gonna get you, and they did a few times. But there's also some plays that we cut up and watched with our guys that, hey, this is, you're doing it versus them, and we're knocking them around a little bit too sometimes. So I feel like I feel like we're not getting punched around the ring as much as we very much anymore. And if it is, it's moments. It's not like 12 rounds you're just getting pummeled. We're in there. We're able to hit back a little bit. So I feel a lot better about where we're at in that respect.
Heading into Cincinnati, what do you see from them?
Well, I don't know how they've only won 3 games. Just looking at their offense, they're pretty good. They're explosive again. I don't know exactly where where they rank nationally. They're pretty high, ranking offensively. I think they're in the top 30 somewhere, and they run, they throw. The quarterback is really elusive, kind of concerning when got a quarterback that runs the ball a lot, scrambles well, and can throw good as well. So I think the running back is tough, runs hard. He's almost got 1,000 yards this year. You know why? Because he's hard to bring down, and and they're decent at all positions. So I feel like this is going to be really a huge challenge because they've shown they're pretty capable on offense, and I'm not worried about, well, are Cincinnati going to be ready to play or not? And I could care less. We just better be ready to play, and if we do, and we show up and play our best, I feel confident in our ability to win. If it's something less, then man, look out, because those guys are capable of making you look bad at times. So
Night games on the road, how challenging is that to get everyone ready throughout the day?
Probably more than if you got played early, just kind of hanging around all day long, and you know what I mean. I think that's the part that I do feel like we've got a pretty good process through the day of engaging them at various points and bringing it back and getting it locked in, but then also giving them enough time to whatever they need to do on their own. So, but it's I think everybody likes to play the 11 o'clock games because you just get up and you play, and then you got a couple hours at the end of the day to whatever. But so night games are always more of a challenge, and don't know what the environment's going to be there again, or anything else about it. So first time there, so it'll be a challenge. But again, we've done it enough times. It's not like it's going to be something new. And again, I feel like Coach puts together the daily plan of what we do and how we do things. I feel like we're able to prime our guys for whatever the game time is.
You guys are last in red zone defense by points per the drive that's in there. Is that something that's just kind of like bad luck, and that you need somebody else to make a mistake to not have that happen? Is that something you guys can do?
Yeah, I know we're not good in red zone, in terms of keeping people from scoring any kind of points.
Yeah.
We had been doing better at making people kick field goals instead of scoring, not last game. And again, those things to me are I will always look at, okay, what are we calling down there? What are we doing? Should we be doing something else? We had the same issues last year, so I thought we have addressed certain things. We've added a little bit more to our repertoire of what we can do. I would say that just like last Saturday, for example, would be, I don't know that it was. I would tell you, I think we had some pretty good calls up for what they did. It's the execution of said calls that if you're not on, anything's going to work against you. So we just got to do a better job of maybe it is. I got maybe make better calls, but we also got to execute our calls better sometimes, and then I think we'll get the stops. We just haven't really got any turnovers. We haven't really stopped anybody on fourth down there to really keep points off the board totally. We have been getting better at making teams kick field goals.
And is there a little bit of luck element to that? Because I guess there's only if another team's missing a 33-yard field goal, there's only so much you can control there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe there is. I can't say that. Like I said, I don't feel like we're getting just out schemed. Like, man, we just don't have an answer. We have answers, but we just sometimes we don't put it all together. And yeah, I'd like nothing more than them to throw a pick, but we gotta maybe sometimes you gotta earn that pick too, and so I think it is probably a little bit everything in there, but that's something again more off season. We just got to keep doing some study ourselves and then try to find out what other people are doing. We spent our off season last year trying to do that kind of stuff, and I do feel like we've got some pretty good answers, but applying them at the right time and doing them when it counts, that's what we got to do.
Hey, Brian, coming off 2 emotional close games at home, is it hard to get kids focused on going on the road, or is that just a thing you hear?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like if it's hard for us, I imagine it's doubly hard for our opponent. But it's a little bit of you got to shake it off a little bit. I don't really feel that way. But I'm not a 18, 19-year-old kid either. That's that deals with all that. I think we really our guys put a lot into that game last Saturday. Put a lot into it. And but as we say, it's play hard, play fast, play physical, play sound, play that way all the time, regardless of circumstance or situation. So hey, it's another week, it's another opponent, and who you're playing, or what your record is, or what their record is, or what the temperature is, or night game or day, that shouldn't matter. We need to play up to our level of standards and expectations, and part of playing that way is preparing that way. So I think we've had 2 practices this week. I feel okay about we're not out there shutting it down. We're practicing, and I think tomorrow it's just going to keep building, and as that K-State game gets a little further behind us, I think it'll be a lot easier to fully tune into what we got to tune into to win this week.